Hello and welcome. So I got some exciting stuff to share. I've been looking at this region. Here's Damodar Kund, Damodar Lake, and we've been looking at this region, and I had some realizations since my last video while I was making some animations. So let's go ahead and play. This is a large scale animation, obviously, compared to here. This is like this big. We're reaching up to here. So like here. Like this big. Here's Damodar Kund. Pretty much center from here to like where it narrows, at least, especially like here where it wobbles over this way. So let's go ahead and hit play. Okay, so they're coming in. I just started to trace the currents flowing from up here, doing my best to determine as I went what the paths they were taking, and then it got a little complicated, but I think I made it through pretty well. So I drew them generally going over here, and then it's going to fill in this area with pressure and go through here. So then it's filling in this region. It's starting to break through here. Maybe it filled in there first before it broke through, but generally it made like a little point here that it came out of. So probably filled in here more than I drew it, and possibly as it filled in here, it also channeled both ways, relatively simultaneous. So I might not be drawing like the sequence exactly right. Also, there are some regions that shows like multiple interactions are at play, so it's probably more continuous and like this is the end result, but we can still use it as a guide. Okay. Maybe we can zoom in a little bit. Let's go up here. So this major inlet here. So I captured this area, which is pretty important, it looks like, in the overall process because of just how big of a region it is. Okay, so we're going in there. So I started drawing this off this way and I realized, well, this is going across. So if we look at this, like essentially here, this current comes through here and then it kind of fans out like a flame, has like a flame shape to it, especially here. Maybe to there even. Possibly multiple flames, like a fire even. But essentially getting to here and then starting to rupture through here, probably because it could make enough space here to like move and like hit the walls, where over here it's just kind of stuck once it opens enough space over here. Anyway, the point is it sends a current this way, and some of it goes up this way and just kind of holds a boundary, which I didn't draw that, but it's going in here and holding a boundary is kind of what I'm thinking. But it's also like, because of that filling this pressure, it goes this way as well, across here, over here, over here, over here, and then we're like approaching this fan area. So like the presence of this current going off this way, I interpret to be closely tied to that this current's coming in from the side and like interacting with it and creating a cross current. So like this one's probably closely tied to this one, where it comes in here and it goes out there. Okay. This is just filling in more boundary there. I'm playing through this because I have some trouble pausing this unless I play it on my Twitter. There must be a way to play it other than... Let's go, full screen. Can we play? I don't know how to play. Enter. Not spacebar. Okay, enter. Okay, then we progress a little. Came down, so it starts sending currents to the side. So this generally fills this width, and it's sending, but it's like off of a main current that comes over here, down here, and joins from here down through here, and then another, when it goes off this way and goes up, it also goes down, comes down this way. But this one interacts with another current coming up this way, it looks like, and kind of meet each other here. So it probably generally trends over that way and adds to the currents coming from over here that are going down this way, that are funneling down to this point, where I didn't notice this before. There's this long chakra. Whoa. That basically goes right to where that current goes across in here, as well as this current going this way. Okay, so as it goes though, my thought is it's like going along and it's trying to get out, and sometimes it breaks through the currents this way, which end up just opening the boundary and holding a boundary a lot of the time. A lot of the time they don't progress further and they just like hold a boundary. Reach in and hold a boundary, reach in and hold a boundary. Like this one though, where it's actually a river that like was a result of the pressure pushing this way and then just like etching out preferentially to the east along this path, because I guess there's pressure from the west pushing this way, which is probably why it's got this like straight arc here from general pressures this way, that I'm not quite sure on why they're there, although there is a arc going generally through here to like the center here. But so it goes down and it branches off. So let's look a little more at these. Like here's a good one, goes off this way, and then it just really holds this boundary, doesn't get in. But here there's a straight like gouge going this way that then goes over to here and goes across. And there's all the way across this structure across that continues like here even, I think. So I was thinking, because essentially like there's an outlet and an inlet, maybe there's a balance point in the middle that really allows for just a cross current that really doesn't go different directions. It just goes straight across. this way and flows and possibly bends with a larger current that's cutting across that way. I'd like to go up, possibly because of the resistance here that it had to bend. It ended up bending. But there's currents going across there, I guess. So that, anyway, I just wanted to point that out because I started to draw it here. So this one's coming in and it's starting to just branch out. And so this one's going to meet this one. And so we're going to start having currents from over here running over here, meeting the currents going this way. That's producing these boundaries where the currents don't advance. Like that one we just looked at, like here. Like it's running into a resistance of what's going on here, what's going on here, here, all this other stuff. It's running up into it, so it's just arcing instead because it doesn't have enough oomph at those energetic points to break through. It has to be at like the balance point of the center maybe for this one, and slightly above center maybe, or some like different center that's just not the same energetic center but more a center on a different scale that then produces this arc across as a perfect balance point. Okay. It also holds a boundary though, like these currents. I was thinking about it. These currents kind of run up to it if we look closely. Like this is coming in and then it's going around over this way, over here, and it's running into the currents coming this way, going up here, and just forcing a boundary out here, coming up this way and just pushing into this. So it's squishing terrain between two sides of two current flows, but it's flowing up here and just going in here, going over here. So here it kind of turns and then looks like it might even, like this is a cross current coming this way, so it might build some layers that allow it to get through like a lower depth. The interaction leads to these mounds maybe, but then it just gouges past underneath the cross current. But then it looks like it starts to do waver. Like over here, it's traveling pretty laminar, relatively, through here. Coming up on that cross current there. Sorry, I'm gonna keep muting myself for a second. That's epic. It has a low layer, upper layer, even higher layer, higher layer, higher layer, higher layer. And it like physically like goes around like a bend. So it looks like it must go over here and then start to go down this way, down this way, down this way, down here, and possibly bend up in here a bit. Go this way, ramp over this. Maybe go down in here, cross here, cross here, cross here, over here. Like somewhere it's joining that line again. There it is. Maybe even coming in there and wrapping around and continuing. generally, like deflecting around this mound, that it enables it to go another route, as well as I guess across. Like it's definitely taking that route, but it's taking lower routes too. But so this current though splits here, goes around a mound, so I guess where their main interaction is, because this here, the inlet is like pointing right down here, this is pointing right here, at their main interaction is this like nucleus that's like the center of this square or pentagon or all the sorts of shapes that this region has. It's relatively in the center though. And it's relevant to Damodar Kund and what's going on here. So, but this cross current interacts with this one and splits it, and it vibrates and goes like this, and goes around this way, makes it through to come over here, but more of it seems to have gone this way, probably creating some relative eddy here. I don't know, maybe not, but then it comes through over here, so it's definitely coming through here because it's running into this current here, definitely running into each other here. Okay, so let's continue. So you got it going around that nucleus, continuing on, branching out here. Here's this one that comes from over here and goes this way in like a stepped fashion up to this peak where it's sprayed out from, it seems. Then we gotta go across, and the cross current there, so maybe that's related to some of that turbulence. I didn't really pay attention. Over here, a current's coming across here. Like it's basically connecting here to there. In a similar way as how it goes from here around this cross current, it also goes around this one, and maybe even another mass in the same way, but where it went around like that. Maybe even deflecting some of this current down into this path and across here ultimately. Into this path, and also this path, like separating it. Looks like it might also like go across and above this region. Just maybe, I don't know. I get that vibe from this. The way these are and the way these are, but not so much here. Okay, let's keep playing. So there's that pinch point. There's, oh no, I just won a bunch. Okay, we got that pinch point. We got a bunch more branches out coming over this way, just holding pressure that I maybe need like the opposing pressure really simultaneous to show more likely how it's happening. But in essence, this is going to start swirling in at the Damodar Kund. but it's also going to branch out this way, create these boundaries. This is going to get across, create boundaries. This is going to get across from that cross current. That one across this one. It's going to get across. This one's going to get across over here from that other cross current, from the further end of it, the outer ring, inner nucleus. And this one gets across, and it's going to feed down in, and then down here, it's going to exit. This is going to exit. This is going to exit. These are all exiting to this point through paths. I thought this was really interesting right here, because I immediately was like, this isn't the best one. Here's Damodar Kund, and then south of it is this structure that looks kind of like this. Let me even find a better one. There's this one. Oh, that's the same one. There's this one. I know I have one more appropriate. Oh my god. I might have skipped it too. I feel like I passed it. Okay, just skip ahead, guys. Here's some dendrites. This is probably useful to pull up. This is the kind of thing I'm looking for also in this region, especially around the gorge. Like if there's dendrite structures like this happening at like this doesn't have them, but like out here. Somewhere on the outside where a cross current is just creating so much eddying and turbulence that it creates like wobbly current paths that have to take paths like this in order to get through. Here again, goes around like this, and then it just explodes out here, all this turbulence, but like orderly turbulence so that it etches the rock with that structure. Kind of what I'm thinking about in this region also. Like these things. Or maybe down here. In terms of this. I must have passed it. I'm almost certain it's like more recent. Oh. It's so perfect though. It looks just like it if I can find it. I gotta make sure I didn't do it again. Got some new shallograms. Images. Some new images. Oh my god. Okay. No, I know I have an image of it. Not this. This is another example. The ridges on the side. There it is. There it is. There it is. We found it. We found it. It made me think of this. Like here. Generally here. Which interestingly is like a terminal to this region. Like here. Made me feel like maybe there's a shallogram feature like that here. Maybe also related to the mountains behind it with this. I wonder if there's a current. Maybe if this one had enough strength, it would have went right through. Like this. Right here. I guess it kind of gets through. It doesn't get through though. Like it could have had enough strength to etch through the whole thing, maybe. Okay, let's go. View fits. Okay, so there's that one. Pretty cool. But what I didn't draw was really the Damodar Coon region. Fortunately, that's what this one is. Okay. This must have a fit. Okay, there we go. River, this is the gorge, and then the path specifically to the Damodar Coon. Maybe I should pause. Gorge back here. Kaligandaki Gorge, in which the main conduit is flowing down and branching towards us, where one of the branches, this one, gets in and flows this way. And when it reaches this region, it ultimately bends around this way and goes over here. And then I generally drew it going around here, down, up like this side, and back this way. But it also, this is my current interpretation now, is it then continues to go up around, like this mound ends up forming because this current goes forward and it meets resistance, so it kind of swirls and it takes that material and moves it over there, but this current holds it there, which then deflects, ends up making this current and no longer go like this way and actually deflect around and go this way and split. So it splits this current, causes it to go up that way, where then it starts to drain down the side because of just pressure and circulate down the side. And this current coming back this way, maybe I'll move me over here. This current coming back this way interacts with the current coming off of here in a way where it kind of like encourages, is my interpretation, the eddy current that's going like this to be here, whereas like here it's more so going down. So there's a difference in the currents there. So there's a downward currents and then this way eddy currents. But then because there's all this pressure over here, when this current comes back, it's running into resistance. And so we have these currents coming off in specific drainage paths where more current than other places is focused down, where it then runs into this path that's along the end of the these patches that follows along here and runs across and meets these here as well as back here, one back here and back here, but meets these at specifically Damodar Kund and this other lake that I've already forgot their names. They have specific names that I came across recently, as well as cutting through the center at that divide shallogram feature. And so it literally, the intersection creates these features for sure. So there's definitely this like current situation going on in that regard there. But then they keep going across and continue in part. Like some of it probably gets redirected into what then happens. So it goes over there, goes up here, but it runs into this current and goes this way. I'm also considering the possibility that it goes down and out, and that this current coming in actually is at like a 20-meter height above an outlet channel. It ends up forming like an undercurrent flow outward that is flowing along the floor that then supports the overcurrent that's flowing inward that flows outward and goes down this way and around and out while this inflow is coming in. And it's perhaps it actually, when it comes across here, what can't go up this way, or more precisely, what can't go out that way and drain out that way, does go up this way and ramps around, but then it ends up going up and reaching into the boundary of this current that is flowing above the other current inward, and that bends it away from it, away from it, away from it, around it. It interacts over there, around, and it bends by this current coming back. These currents holding this pressure over here, it bends back and is just shot like a beam where it goes all the way over there past the Gandaki Gorge up to a high enough level where it's going above the current coming in. It goes up through it, above it, and then goes across past the pressures of the currents flowing through the Gandaki Gorge, and then it impacts with such force that it gouges this channel over here that just goes and goes and goes and goes over here, goes into here, up here. Like, it's, at least it's interacting with all of that. I don't know if it's literally like anything that, basically the water's being, this is my thoughts. If we look over here, by no coincidence is the Kali Gandaki Gorge at the center of the Himalayas. And if we follow it over this way, we kind of go through like the chakras maybe around the Tarim Basin in this region. So it goes through a chakra system and then it cuts across to the deepest lake on planet Earth. Baikal Lake, I believe it's called. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Baikal. This lake. Deep is 1.6 kilometers and most voluminous freshwater reservoir on Earth. Shaped like an arc. I was like, did I... Shaped like an arc, where if you kind of just take this point and just go over here to like this point, let's say, and then come over here, I mean, it's very much in line. And if I chose the like the far left, I wonder if I chose, damn it, Arcoon. It doesn't seem like the appropriate choice, but it just would be interesting. It really didn't change much. Okay. Point being, this here is to me it's indicating a current that was flowing generally over this way. Possibly up and around here, and then funneling through here some reason. Some reason it's like going in a very direct path that ends up going over here and really contributing probably to the shape of the Himalayas as a whole. And then creating this focal point where there's just a bunch of current flowing through. Which then produces oh my god. Which then produces this cool outcome. Let's zoom in. I want to make sure you guys see this. As this comes across and bends around and goes up, it's then producing like a pressure down here so that any current that swells from here across has like an easier time to get across. So what I'm thinking happens is it regularly is happening where there's a current going like just up and over to a point where it actually produces a solid layer of current going up and over like that, enough to hold like a sleeve. And then above and below there's this chamber that this beam then is focused around this elaborate maze of mountains being gouged by the currents to then come down this way, go around, boom, and then boom. Also, there's this one that comes across here, and I think it makes it here. Feeds into this region, where then it goes down here. Joins this one down here. Whoa. Like a little flame. This is like a campfire. Or maybe like a fire on top of a watchtower. There's so many features to consider. What they might inform towards. It's almost like petals that tend to be around the nucleus but are off the top like a crown. It's very strange. Okay, I guess I'll be back when I have something more to add specifically. It seemed, I don't know if I can like put it all together and make a more comprehensive and like concentrated display of a lot of these concepts in rapid succession with good detail, making sure to like incorporate significant reasonings sufficiently. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. There's some without like spreading out. Like as soon as I start doing this, it's like, what about over here? What about down here? There's so many questions that arise to really like dig in and map it like that. It's like ellipse. Whoa. Maybe going on here too or something. Just wondering if it like is behaving like a certain particle Maybe this as well, and like all of this is behaving as some atom or molecule where that is some component there. Also, I noticed this. I believe when the current comes out, it runs into a current that was generally going this way. So that whenever any current gets out of here, it preferentially goes this way instead of going like this way. Because a current was flowing that way, that encouraged it that way. But then it approaches over here, where, mind you, the Indonesian archipelago is being caused by a wave propagating in this direction that reaches into even interact with the Himalayas energetically here and like bond them maybe by overlaying material across. But this current that flows across ends up having, this is my interpretation, of course, when I say backwards of how it naturally is now, like how we see it a lot of times, at least, not always. Like, what I'm about to say is obviously not the present. It's going uphill, but like that, it's being compressed. So there's a current flowing this way. There's a pressure this way, probably a current that then collide, and generally it drains down here, like goes down into here, but some of it goes up into here and reaches up into here, and it does so by going this way until it's, I guess it's got a barrier from this energy interacting with this energy, creating like a place where it creates a barrier enough for this current to just go around and join current that's able to just go up that way. And then it goes up to here, because there's like an arc here, right here. It's almost like a, not a button, but a, something like that, like a nail, a screw, some kind of fastener. Safner? Did I just say? Safner. Fastener. But so then a current goes in this way, and then I was thinking it does three things. It goes one way, like really, maybe higher elevation, I'm not sure. Let's say 5,000, blah, blah, blah. Pretty similar. Okay. Anyway, goes one way over here that ends up pushing this boundary here. Goes in here and then kind of spreads out and reaches in. And then it goes in here and then elongates all the way down to meet generally where that one is and have a boundary between them, as well as extending in here. And current's flowing this way, so it's holding a general outside boundary. And then flowing in here, where I guess it just held a boundary, occupied this space, so it didn't get filled with material as easily due to pressure there. It even had a node. Ugh. Okay, I want to show this real quick before I forget. So I mentioned it, but I didn't show it. So there's a current flowing this way. And a current flowing this way from here. It's going down. Although I'm not completely sure. It may be that this current goes this way and then goes up. Goes up there. So maybe it goes down atop an up current and then bends around here to go up to join this up current, creating that. Because the reason I was interested is because if we measure this, let's say like at least here, but 4570 or yeah, 4570 4750 4370. So it's 200 meters from the base to right there. And then another 190 meters to this node. And this is around, like, the highest of this bend, I guess, is around 40 meters below that. So it goes 200 and then 190 and then so 350 from here to here. Hopefully I'll remember that. Because essentially there's a current coming in here or out here with a overcurrent coming in or out, whichever the other is. So I was thinking maybe there's an actual dimensional comparison. 48, like 4810, let's say 20 even. And then just try to go right up here. 270 or 250 meters to, like, well, let's go here from 5100 there and then down straight from it. So around 200 meters. Around 200 meters from the top of the head to the bottom. And then that was then 200 meters from here, 4380 to here, 4570, so around 200 meters to there. So my thought is there's a relationship, like, because whatever current, like this current is flowing in here and running into resistance and bending. By this, like, a current over here. And going atop it. So it must be that this is going in this way. This current comes and runs into it, which builds up this mound between it until it can ramp it and, like, overflow this way. Where it then runs into resistance, like, goes down atop it and bends around this way and goes this way while this current's generally coming in. going around here, around, and then jumping the mound to, if it's going out. If it doesn't swirl in here and then ramp out, but if it jumps the mound and goes back down, it then travels atop the water, 200 meters of water at a 200-meter depth, or elevation of the water, is a second current going the opposite direction, leaving this mound going this way, that then goes up this way. Up here, up here, up here, runs into here, where that cross current is, and joins this current, I guess. That's another outlet. It's just an outlet channel, a channel through. It's almost like a air valve or something for it to exchange out. Maybe etching this corner as it bends this corner under just pressure, I guess, because it's going downhill and this other current's going uphill, so it gets maybe especially pushed over where the turbulence is. Like, I think that's about the maximum height of this hill relative to the river bed. So here's where that current goes across. Current comes down here and goes right across. Current comes down here in this width, goes across. Current comes down through this region, through here, and across. And I think also this goes across, maybe. Maybe this also feeds into there. But we can see it pretty clear here. This region is going kind of down, interacting with a cross current going this way. That goes like right here and bends. Runs into the current going this way. So I guess this undercurrent, it's going up, it splits here and goes up this way. Probably due to the pressure over here, like it's flowing up this way, over here, filling this chamber with water that wants to come back downhill, so it's putting more pressure right here, which then leads to this current fanning off this way, so that it can relieve some of the pressure that wants to flow through while holding this boundary. So it kind of like keeps the stuff in there, keeps the water in there eddying and forcing it to basically find another way out, and it flows like this, ramps around, and it says, I'm out of here, and just gets its like go-kart. It's a dirt bike, ramps up the hill. I wonder if it relates to that, like some low current that just cut over there. But I really think I mean, maybe both, but it might have affected that location, I don't know. But I'm thinking though it really went up and literally over top everything, flowing atop the water until it got over here where it's able to actually go down on the other side where there's less current flows, and it just etched in here and just kept etching in here. I mean, it's also possibly like a oval here that goes generally around to here and back down around this way, around. It's got like a siphon at that point, like a pole to the system. I don't know. I don't know. It looks like it's present. Whoa. This way. Whoa. Why is it flowing so much here based on right around it? Maybe it's flowing over this way. And then finds a channel in. Like there's a current going across here. I'm a little surprised by the direction of this current. This current's going this way, which means there's, and also here, this arc suggests a current this way. Oh my god. What if it shoots this current out here, right here, that then just continues this way. Oops. Goes up this way, above this. Probably feeds into here until it has enough pressure and then goes up this way. And down into the, or up and around into here where it goes out here. And then it starts to actually fan out, depositing sand at this point. It had this huge width. Is it possible that that much current is emanating from a channel, a current going this way in the midst of the Himalayas, holding it all together maybe, and all the pressures? Is it possible that a current that as unassuming as this hill might have ramped into being in the midst of it all could have flowed over there and here just begun a process of flooding that much without it even like going straight here? If that was the case, I would expect it to go very straight, like cut through. I mean, I guess if there's that much mountains, it really could wobble, but also cut through generally. Get through over here at this point at a width that's starting to fan out, going into the mountains, into the mountain, wanting to fan out, but it's going through mountains, so it just like goes high velocity, and then it starts fanning out as soon as it can. Still interacting with stuff, I guess. I don't really see it distinguishably here. I'd have to just say it generally went across. Maybe it goes up here and gets up into this region, goes up this way. Maybe this region is going this way, and then this region is going this way. Including to like a certain point, like the whole width of it, and a band going east. But north of it is like a boundary going west, maybe, that this current was able to go across and join. That would be so cool if it played a part in like all these other things. I don't know how I want to be more etched, though. I don't think that's the whole extent of what it would have done, so I'm gonna say that's not it, although maybe a product of the process, maybe as it died off, the current flow was still focused as a beam and just kind of like coming back to source, and then one final like thing that got hit by it. I don't know. Like it hits here, ramps. That would be crazy. So that some of the current was going along the surface etching it, but some of the rest of the current was kind of like elongating up. So it didn't etch the surface as much as it could have, maybe. Really does look like. I mean, it's pretty close there. .34.5 kilometer ramp. I mean, it's riding on top of the surface of water, so. But maybe just a geyser that goes sideways. With enough water around. Just like a ultimate jet stream. Water comes in one way, interacts with the container, where it then etches in a direction that shoots a beam in the opposite direction. I feel like I'm so close to fundamental discoveries, and yet so far, like something useful, something like technologically, some ancient technology realized again. Let's see if I found this interesting too. It kind of like the way it is, the way it's like this. Kind of fades out down here. And really starts more so up here. Like a beam hitting high in the mountains would do, I guess. Like it ramped these other mountains to get there. It had to ramp. I don't even know, that's probably several degrees. 15, 30 even. Oh, to get over this, to then get over there. Okay, I'm gonna stop this now. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Hope that was exciting and not too boring when I slowed down and etc. See you guys later.